Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of One Fear Per Year, where we come together and encourage one another that we are in this journey of life side by side, and that we ultimately want to live our best lives. And we do that by just showing up authentically, vulnerably, and really encouraging one another to just take those steps to live our very best, most amazing life. And I am thrilled with my guest today, Cara Tracy. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I am honored to be here.
You are just amazing. And I know the first thing that attracted me kind of to you is I know you love yoga and you're heart centered and you just have this beautiful spirit about you. And as I said in the intro, we all deal with fear. It is a very human condition. And how has fear impacted your own life? How has fear kind of shown up, or what have been some of the consistent fears that you have had to face in your life?
Yeah, great question. And it's kind of ironic that you would invite me to be on your podcast because fear has been a huge part of my life ever since I was a little kid, and still today. It started out, I was afraid of bugs. I'm still afraid of bugs as an adult. Oh my gosh, I'm afraid of germs. I'm afraid of hurting myself. I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing. I'm afraid of not knowing what to say. That might happen today, by the way. I might just blank out. But yeah, fear has really, kind of ruled my life. And I'm trying to, it's so funny. I'm looking at this picture on my wall that says, "Be fearless." It just occurred to me that's up there. And I have all these old motivational sayings on my wall. But yeah, so I'm a work in progress, and being here today is huge. It's a huge step towards becoming fearless, I guess. So.
And let me tell you, I have the utmost respect. It makes me emotional because I know how hard it is. And I have the utmost respect for people who feel the fear and do the thing anyway and show up and sign up and step by step, just like inching their way, but they are in the arena doing the work. So you are actually the guest that I want on this podcast. Is you're showing up despite the fear, knowing intuitively that on the other side of this is your best life, is your highest self and your deepest calling. So kudos to you for being here, showing up brave, authentically, and just saying, "Hey, I'm a work in progress," because amen, sister, so am I. I'm right there with you. And every step of the way in our seasons of life, different fears come up. And so for me, it's not so much about being fearless. I kind of think I might always carry the fear, and that's okay as long as I do what you're doing, which is showing up, taking the step. And so for someone out there that feels similar to you, very in that space of, I feel these fears, I feel these fears, what is their next best step that they can take?
Yeah. So and maybe I'm jumping ahead of myself because I know you're going to ask me about what the opposite of fear is. And that kind of goes, I'm a fan. I've been watching your podcast. And I'm sorry to throw you off, but it kind of ties in with that. And it's action, it's taking action, it's doing it. Like you said, feeling the fear and doing it anyways. I have a fear of speaking in public, which is kind of funny because I'm a yoga teacher. But that was sort of one of the ways of trying to overcome. I felt a calling in my heart to become a yoga teacher, and when I'm up there teaching, the fear does go away. But I was so scared for the very first time. Do you know what I mean? So
Now, before that very first time, did you prepare a lot? Did you talk to people? Like, what were the things that helped you right before you do something scary for the first time?
Yeah. And you know what? That's one of my fears. I said mentioning that I don't know I'm afraid of not knowing what to say or saying the wrong thing. And I over prepare. And I kind of go by a script. I do it in meetings. You know, I'll rehearse what I'm gonna say before a meeting. I'll rehearse what I'm gonna say before a class, before teaching a class. And that's something I'm still working through.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just being really confident and specifically with the class and also even just speaking in a meeting, thinking about who your audience is. For instance, in my yoga classes, these people aren't coming there to hear an eloquent speech or whatever. They're coming to my class because they're stressed or they're tired or they just need inspiration. And if you think about it from that perspective, you kind of put yourself in their shoes. They just want to feel good. They just want to break from whatever they're dealing with at life or at work or whatever. And no one cares if you're perfect. I'm talking to myself. No one cares if you're perfect. It's just yeah, putting yourself out there, being in service, caring, and yeah, just being yourself.
That's it. That is it. And let's talk about this not being perfect thing because I do know about the perfectionism and wanting to come across eloquently and perfectly, and I struggle with that in my speeches as well, kind of letting go of the script a little bit. I mean, yes, having an outline, yes, knowing my points and where I'm going, but I, like you, have that fear of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in the middle of this speech and literally just forget what I was saying, what I was talking
Yeah.
about comes next, like that kind of thing. And have you found anything in your own life that has helped you with the perfectionism thing and starting to kind of release that and lean into into that surrender, into that kind of flow space?
That's a great question. Most recently, I've been reading, or I actually just finished Mel Robbins' The Let Them Theory, and that kind of hits the nail right there on the head. No matter what you do, you can't control what other people think of you or what other people do. And so you just need to let that go and just focus on what you can do and just be okay with that.
Yes, the serenity prayer, am I right?
Absolutely.
Like, what can we control? What is outside of our control? And the wisdom to know that the difference and to kind of see myself as very much coming from a blaming. I used to be more into blaming other people and like, it's your fault and you did this and that's. And when I started going, wait, but that doesn't do anything for me. I'm still stuck. I still feel miserable. The moment I said, I'm the only one who can change me, I can't change you, even though I so wish that I could. Like, talk about wishing on a shooting star or whatever. That was my life for many years. Yeah. Wishing. But it's arguing with reality. So the minute that we have that acceptance and just go, okay, this is reality, and now what can I do about it next? I think that's so powerful. And was there anything in Mel Robbins' book that really struck you or stood out to you that you want to share?
Well, honestly, this is one of those times when I don't have an answer for you off the top of my head. Can we go to the next question?
Yeah, no worries. No, but I love because I have seen her
Yeah.
let it go. Wait, what is it called?
So it's let them.
Let them. Yes,
Yeah.
the let them theory and just like what other people are going to do, kind of let them instead of us starting to try to control. And that's my
Exactly.
thing too, controlling. I struggle a lot with that urge to do that. So I don't know if that's shown up in your life in any way. I guess that might go hand in hand with the perfectionism thing.
It does. And it has made me realize the times that I have been a little bit too controlling with other people. maybe like my husband. And I don't realize that I do it out of love, but he might be complaining that, he doesn't get a lunch break during work because he's got too many meetings. And the old me, the pre let them theory me would be like, oh, can you rearrange and can you do this? And do you want me to bring you a lunch and whatever? And now it's just like, let him work through lunch and figure it out and just let me go on with my day, and take care of me. And he's a big boy. So, and I love him dearly, and I don't like the idea of him not eating lunch, but it makes me more conscious about all of the times that I've probably been a little bit too meddling in that
Oh,
area, and it's only out of love.
I'm with you.
I love you.
I get that. It's like the trying to fix and make everybody happy around you,
Yeah.
kind of the people pleaser thing. And when it's at the expense of our own selves or trying to control, like you were saying, somebody else's emotion and how they show up in the world, not really allowing them to do their own internal work. I definitely know exactly what that is like for sure. And I just love, I don't know about you, but as a yoga instructor and just personal development and all of that, gaining more awareness every day of just, and without the self judgment, but just noticing. And I know as a yoga instructor, just notice without judgment what's happening within you. Do you know, has that ever come up with either yourself or somebody that you know where there's just a lot of judgment within, and then there's a shift where all of a sudden they can notice things without being so critical and like you're dumb, you're stupid, you're those types of negative thoughts, but it's more like I see it and yeah, that's something I want to work on, but I love myself and we're going to get there.
Yeah, yeah. And I definitely, I feel I see that in myself because I have been very, very self-critical, and I'm learning to give myself a break, and that, I'm doing fine. I'm doing the best that I can. And yeah, I am all about self-development and things like that. I read a lot, and I want to make myself better, but I want to do it for me. I want to do it so I feel better inside,
Yeah,
not for other people. And I think that's pretty huge.
that is really huge. I love that for you. Okay, we're coming back to the question
Um,
about the opposite. You're given, two blank spots. And in one you write fear, and then the opposite of fear is, and what do you put in that spot?
Yeah. So again, I've been following your podcast, so I knew you were going to ask this. And my initial thought as a yoga teacher was the opposite of fear is calm or peace. And then I thought about it a little bit more. And for me, it's actually action. It's doing it. Another quote that I use a lot is the only way out is through by Robert Frost. And, just doing it, like just me being here and talking to you. Oh my gosh, I'm on a podcast, going, I have a fear of speaking unscripted. So I started going to improv classes, just putting myself out there, putting myself in situations. Cause then once you do it, it's not as scary, it's just working through that fear. And then you realizing, gosh, it's really wasn't as bad as I thought. Or boy, I'm stronger than I thought, just kind of having those attaboy moments that, "Hey, I did that. Oh my gosh."
And yes, those moments where you just start building that pride, kind of admiration, because only you and you alone know how terrified you are, right? Like internally.
Yeah.
So when you know the level and the depth of the fear, and then you see that you did it anyway. I mean, that's just badass. It just is badass. And so,
Awesome.
yes, I love that you took me up on this invitation because I know that you weren't quite sure you wanted to do it. I love that you showed up despite the fear. Like, I'm not about putting stuff out there that just shows, I've arrived, because I'm on this journey, you're on this journey, we're all on this journey together. Every step is new. There are new layers and growth. And so we're going to get scared and have fears time and time again. But as long as we know that we are on this together, doing it hand in hand and encouraging one another, like that makes my day. So you are just such a fantastic guest. I cannot believe we're already out of time. But one last question. I tell it flies by. One last question. So, since this is the One Fear Per Year podcast and all of that, is there a fear in this upcoming year? I know this being on right now is a great one. If there's another one, let me know, or something that you've done last year where you have intentionally made the choice, I'm going to walk through this fear. Is there something upcoming like that in your life?
There is. I'm actually working on a guided journal to help people find more joy in their lives. And it's very personal to me. And putting myself out there like that is it's scary. And right now, I am talking to a couple of different self publishers. I'm going to be making a decision on this very soon, and then getting my work out there in the world, and hopefully bringing some joy to people in the world. Yeah, and so this is something that I've been working on for 3 years, and I've kinda just been sort of puttering along, and I think a lot of it that's been holding me back is fear because, fear of rejection. This is something that I'm putting my heart and soul into, and what if people don't like it, or what if people don't buy it, or, make fun of me or whatever. But again, I feel a calling to do this, and this is going to be the year that I make it happen.
And you are doing it anyway, which that, in my opinion, is a hero's journey. So you are a hero and keep shining your light. Like keep showing up fully, authentically who you are because that person is so beautiful and magnificent and will impact and has impacted lives. And ultimately, I feel like, man, if we're impacting other people and making them feel more peaceful or more love or whatever it is, which I know you do with yoga and soon with your book and soon with speaking. And you just watch. It's going to be amazing. So thank you for joining me. You
Thank you.
are fabulous.
Thank you, Janice. I so appreciate you having me.